It's time to play the show. The bell has rung, and that big show might be over, but it's time for us to bring wrestling information you can enjoy with the match predictions, analysis, the ups and downs of professional wrestling, all reaction, some beverage drinking to bring you Logic on Tap with your good brothers. It's time for you to look into the eyes of Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder on Beer, Blues, and BS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special wrestling review edition of Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that's probably suffered some sort of injury, but you know what? We're going to gut our way through it anyway. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm pretty darn good there, Jaco. How are you doing tonight? No, it's fine. I gotta lean in because I'm excited. I gotta lean in. It's Rudeboy Kyle's here too. He's going to join us for the big show tonight.
The big show.
Big show. He's not on WWE anymore, so we can't use that on this review. We're going to get a copyright strike or something like that.
If he's not on the show, then who cares?
Howie Blues, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. It seems like we're all a bit punchy tonight. This is going to be interesting to see, but I'm here. I'm awake. Punchy. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately, so... I'll be glad when this is over and I can hit the hay.
Yeah.
He's making some hay, I see. Okay. So good. Rudeboy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. It was an entertaining pay-per-view and looking
live
forward to
premium event.
Giving my live premium event.
Yeah.
Live streaming and I'm glad we had the right streaming service and subscription to do it. So
with or without commercials, it's like YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a joke either way.
Well, yeah. It was entertaining. I don't partake in the wrestling every time it happens, but now that hockey season's done, I've got Sunday evenings available and I can give my 2 cents. So
the best thing about this, because remember, you and I were talking earlier, and you're like, I don't know anything about wrestling. Don't want to join in.
I can't say I don't know anything, but it's something that I have to bow to your prowess of history knowledge, current knowledge, and assessment of the show. So.
And that's why you are here, young Padawan, because soon you will be taking over the reins.
Young grasshopper.
For both of us.
Really?
It's now the Beer, Blues, and BS Rudeboy Kyle show.
Oh, boy. That's a bit of pressure, but I'll give my 2 cents either way. So here we go.
We got to do a What's on Tap first. I mean, you know how this show goes. You've been on here long enough, right?
Yeah, I've done an episode or two.
All right. Well, since you're drinking a beverage, what's on tap in the Jonathan Taves NHL Chicago Blackhawks glass there? And of course, because not only did Jonathan Taves went to UND, was a Fighting Sioux player, but also plays in the NHL, is great, plays for your favorite team, the Chicago Blackhawks, but also because they're in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago.
There's a lot of Chicago tie-ins tonight.
There's definitely the LZ yourself.
Yeah, it's not too far away. It's
hop
and a skip from downtown. So
it's pretty much there.
Yeah.
So what do you got on tap? Filling up most of that 24 to 28, 32 ish ounce. I was hoping I could get the glare off the bottom to see how many ounces it was. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet.
I have an Alani Seltzer frozen lemonade. It's a spike seltzer on ice. So it is a 5% alcohol by volume, Had some previous drinks today, so I'm just something you're just winding down the evening with. So it's something that they have other flavors that are not as tasty, but there's another one right there. So
Howard's like, what? I looked away.
We'll jump to that one after
He's like, whatever.
Astute 100 calorie, 2 carbs, no protein, no fat.
Keeping it slim.
And there's 1 12-ounce serving per can. So
per can. And that's what you got in there. So is that only one?
That is 1 serving.
Wow.
Well, I put a bunch of ice in just to keep it cold. So.
Oh, I see. I thought you mixed it with vodka or something.
Well, I'm not allowed to touch the vanilla vodka that was brought home earlier.
That's right. But, as far as we know, that's the only vodka that was brought home.
Yes,
yeah.
As far as I know.
But
so
we got some other assorted liquor back in the
we have
the Temp Triple B
we have the whole
liquor
bottle
cabinet
in the background. So
it's back there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we might as well get this on the road, and then we can figure out what Howie Blues also has on tap this evening, whether it's another twisted tea or perhaps just a straight up tea or an Arnold Palmer, maybe the agua. He's shaking his head no, and I've struck out because that's 3. So, it's always Coca-Cola. I shouldn't have used that. We're going to get another copyright content strike.
Yeah.
Man, we're running out of money before we've even made it.
Who's to say that he hasn't added to it?
I haven't added to it.
We'll find out here shortly after Mark's fine description of the mimosa.
Got the Alani as well. There's a quick look at the Alani. What drew me to these is the Alani brand also has Alani New, which are energy drinks, and they're only 12-ounce cans, but they have 200 milligrams of caffeine, and they've been getting me going for the past year, and I thank them for that since I discovered them at retail stores everywhere. So again, this is the Alani. They call them the Seltz, but I don't really sense a lot of Seltz because you know my feeling on seltzers. They don't agree with me because they're pretty much like television static that's being recorded through water bubbling next to a room that's close to this flavor that's supposed to be in the can.
Now, would you call it your sensing ability or seltzing ability?
Seltzing.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting a little seltz specific and seltz sensitive.
Oh, okay.
But this one again,
so you're seltz sensitive.
I might be.
Oh.
It might be a new condition that we're going to have to get something going for.
Aren't we all?
So we'll get that figured out. But this one is the mimosa flavor, as you can see there with the anti-focus. And back it up. Back. We're not running. We're going to sell real estate for a second. Just
professionally attractive.
Just attract, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe we're the only thing that's away from whatever. Okay, so this is a spiked seltzer. It's a mimosa flavor, according to this. Another 5% alcohol, 100 calories per can. As we look at some of the tasting notes, it's got the filtered carbonated water, alcohol from malt and sugar, natural flavors, cane sugar, orange juice concentrate, citric acid, sodium citrate, sativa leaf extract, and hops. Brewed and canned by the Alani Seltzer, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and AlaniSeltz.com. Please recycle. Drink responsibly. You're on the wrong show for that. And, just...
they also put too much emphasis on the cane sugar.
Maybe. Cane!
Timely.
So, how was yours, by the way, the lemonade? I enjoy the shaved lemonade.
The lemonade was tasty. It's not overly carbonated or seltzy, but I'd call it. It's kind of one of those old school lemonades with you can tell it's got a little bit of the real sugar in there, so it's just right. I'd call it better than the that Hawaiian shaved ice flavor they have that can't decide whether it's a fruit or coconut or a pineapple flavor
or sand.
Oh,
ocean water.
Yeah, it's
salty.
Yeah, it's. I'd say it's just right for for something that want to enjoy in the warm outside and the shade. So how's the mimosa?
Well, I was just going to comment that I had a chance to try the lemonade flavor earlier today, and to me, it's kind of like a shaved ice delight that you would get, like an Italian shaved ice. Howie Blues, you're a big fan of the Italian shaved ice, aren't you?
No.
He's like, what are you talking about? No, I hate
Do you
those.
like any slushies or any blended drinks, or is it just something?
I mean, on occasion, but I wouldn't put it as Kidder put it, as like big fan. I was like, no.
Well, like I said, he put way too much emphasis on the cane sugar.
Cane!
But
Cane!
we digress.
Yeah. Anyway. This one is the mimosa. It's not bad.
Does it have enough orange in there? Or is it just a sneeze of orange flavor?
There's enough where it's not overpowering and overly sweet, but enough to make it not like television static and make you want to throw it in the sink.
That's good.
So it is pretty good. Howie Blues, as you're rolling the paint, maybe rolling out the barrel again. What do you got over there for the?
I'm just varnishing is actually what I'm doing. All I have is just a plain Coca-Cola because it's late and that's it. But nothing exciting. Yep, some of us have to go to work, and some of us have toddlers that have been keeping them up most of the night. So, yeah.
I suppose with that being said and documented in this documentary series, if you will, Triple B, the latest pay-per-view to get some views.
I thought it was premium streaming service.
Yes, it is a live premium event.
Oh.
But this could be a pay-per-view if it weren't for the fact that we put it out for free.
Okay.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Pay per fan. We pay per fan because whatever. Let's get on with the show, shall we? It's Hell in a Cell 2022. What does that mean? It's the night of the year that WWE goes extreme. No, wait, that's Extreme Rules. It's the night of the year where WWE brings out the red cage. And the best part about it, and Howie Blues, I wish you were here earlier today when we were discussing the show this evening, because you would have loved this conversation. Aside from that, it's, Rudeboy Kyle and me having this conversation. But we're talking about the show, and Kyle's like, what's the show again? I'm like, Hell in the Cell. And he's like, okay, kind of what is that? Is it just a show, pay-per-view, matches, whatever? Well, Hell in the Cell.
Premium streaming event.
It is a live premium event. And they have the Hell in a Cell match. Oh, so they're all Hell in a Cell matches? No, just one. That's it. So why is it Hell in a Cell? That's a good question, Rude Boy. Howard and I have been asking that for. We have been asking ourselves, why is this Money in the Bank? Why is this Hell in a Cell? Why is this Extreme Rules? Why is this a live premium event when it is not premium at all, but just something else to fill time on a Sunday night? So here we are.
If you don't have the Peacock or the pay-per-view, or
and you have us.
Live premium streaming event,
you have us,
then it is pay-per-view. Well, you also have us. Yeah. We can give our 2 cents and and there's plenty of people saying penny for your thoughts. So
I wonder who these people are. If you are watching this or listening to this, please drop us a comment below.
Hopefully we make
in the comments. All right, so start of the show, the opening video. I always grade the opening video. Tonight, not too bad. It wasn't off the rails. It showed the theme of the show. It showed previous Hell in a Cell footage. It was kind of extreme in a way, but yet showing the Hell in a Cell theme. So I give them at least an A- for tonight's opening video. There was also the pyro at the beginning of the show, which I did the obligatory Batista with the show. So we got it rolling. And the first match, before we even get to the first match, the kickoff show, because I was under the impression, again, that the kickoff show would have a match. Well, it turns out WWE has been taking notes from AEW and not putting a match on the kickoff show. So we hurried to have some Mambo Italiano food, which was pretty darn good. Yeah. And then ran back here to get on with the show while watching it on the phone at the restaurant. Hey, there's got to be a match coming up. Like, we better get back. What happens when we get back? We're going to talk about the show now. Okay, great.
Well, yeah, it was. I'd say for a hour lead up into a 3-hour event.
Yeah. Unnecessary.
I mean, it was something that if you're used to seeing a match prior to the start of what should be the series of matches, and then have a little more lead up, then it'd be a better intro. If it's going to be just an intro to, what was the number of matches, 5 or 6?
We had 7 matches.
7 matches. So I'd say a half hour to 45 minutes instead of an hour would be better, but that's just my
outsider take.
I like it. I mean, it's something that I told Mark that I subscribe to a Formula One subscription that they start an hour and a half before the race, and they give a lot of insight. But it's something that a lot of that is also kind of gee whiz and kind of stirring the pot type of stuff, and it was the same type of scenario here. So as I drew the similar parallels to what they do to before each Formula One race, and they have commercials, obviously, but it's something that if I was going to watch this, and it's something
watch
that
every show.
Well, I mean, it's something that I don't have the time and history knowledge that you guys do, so it's something that all I can say is that it was a good lead up, and you can kind of come and go as you please, but it's something that they did a good job of bringing you forward and prepping you for the main event at the end. So I enjoyed it.
One thing that the Rude Boy brought up as well was the fact that with his Formula One racing subscription, he gets the multiple camera angle ability, so he can select what camera angles he wants to watch. And of course, with the wrestling shows, you want more of a, shall we say, produced look, because they're going for the specific angles. And so, well, it would be cool, I think, to have that live feel where you are watching whatever angle you want to watch. I think that from at least the perspective of AEW or WWE, that it would be more of along the here's the production feed.
Yeah. But because
anyway,
it's something where Formula One, there's 20 drivers plus the pit lane plus different languages that are overlaid on top of the international feed plus the Formula One feed themselves. So it's something that they go a little above and beyond what just a normal basic streaming subscription is, and something that you invest into, but it's it was enjoyable. I liked it, and being able to sit down for the first time in many years and watch a full live premium event to
about a couple years,
just take it all in and enjoy it. Was I liked it.
So on with Hell in a Cell 2022. Here we go. The first match on the card as they opened the show was the triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. And that features the champion Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch and Asuka in the triple threat format. In this one, I picked Bianca Belair to retain. What was your choice for the evening, Rudeboy Kyle?
My pick was the Asuka.
The Empress of Tomorrow.
Yes, the Empress of Tomorrow. And with the history and the lead up and them showing Asuka being able to project her
the green mist.
The green mist.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for a double green mist finish, but maybe another time.
Sure. And of course, I know that some people watching this video going, hey, wait, you're wearing a Becky Lynch shirt. The man, yes, I am wearing that Becky Lynch shirt, but I am the man, the myth, the legend, and so therefore it's now my shirt. Mm-hmm. Howie Blues, your pick for this first match.
I would love to see Asuka get it because I prefer Asuka, but I think they're going to stick with Belair until at least SummerSlam. So Belair is my pick.
All right. So here is the breakdown of the match. First of all, 18 minutes, 55 seconds for the length of this match. Triple threat gets underway. Becky Lynch ends up shoving both of them and getting into the corner. Becky Lynch tries to shove Asuka into Belair, but then swings a kick but gets caught. A lot of back and forth with the beginning of this one. Belair knocks Becky out of the ring, locks up with Asuka. The fans, are all over the place with who they want to support on this one. Asuka drops Belair with a clothesline. Becky drags her out of the ring and kicks her. So they're trying to do the old bait and switch, beat and separate. Lynch knocks Belair back, climbs to the top rope. Bianca slings her off. Belair hits a drop kick and then kips up. Lynch lands some kicks of her own. Asuka jumps off the back of Belair and drop kicks Becky in the corner and then hits a bulldog clothesline to both of them, which was pretty cool to watch. Asuka with the kicks to both women and then a hip attack to Becky Lynch in the corner. Belair lifts her up, tries to go for the KOD. Asuka ends up slipping off and countering the move. Asuka catches Belair with a flying armbar, but then quickly turns over and deadlifts her up on top of her shoulders into the power bomb. The Empress in Tomorrow gets thrown into the turnbuckles. Asuka drops Belair, and Becky yanks Asuka off the top onto Belair. Lynch throws Asuka from the ring, stomps Belair down into the corner. Asuka gets up on the apron. Belair inadvertently knocks her off, and then Lynch hangs on Bianca in the middle rope, hits a leg drop off the second rope, a close 2 count on that one. As we continue on, Lynch avoids Belair in the corner, hits a Bexploder. Belair rolls outside. Becky hits Asuka with a baseball slide, jumps off the apron and a clothesline into Asuka. Becky gets Bianca back inside, hits the leg drop off the middle rope for a near fall thanks to Asuka. Becky and Asuka trade some huge shots in the middle of the ring. Asuka hits a backslide and a quick near fall, but then some spinning back fist, a German suplex. I leaned to Rudeboy Kyle and said, it's too bad that Brock Lesnar isn't here tonight because we could have done the suplex counts for that, but maybe another time. Yeah. So as we continue, Asuka keeps swinging a kick. Becky ducks. Belair comes in, scoops her up, hits the KOD. That's the kiss of death, in case you didn't know that one. Lynch counters. Belair hits a stalling vertical suplex onto Becky, drop kicks Asuka. Belair goes for the 10 punches on Asuka in the corner, but Becky runs it up. Bianca ends up flipping over the top of Becky Lynch and getting both of them in the corner. She climbs back up and gives both of them the 10 punches. I don't know if it was 5 and 5 or 8 and 2, but it ended up being 10 punches total. Becky pulls the hair and gets hit with a spine buster. Belair lifts Asuka, hits a grand slam onto Lynch, and then a handspring moonsault. Both women get a near fall. Belair rolls Asuka, targets Lynch. Bianca gets Becky up for a top, or up top, that is, for the superplex. Asuka returns. Becky drops Belair off the top rope. Becky jumps at Asuka, gets caught with a code breaker. Asuka then hits both with a hip attack. Yes, this match is still going on. Asuka gets hit with an ankle lock. Belair tries to kick her, but Asuka catches her foot, puts both of them into a huge double ankle lock. To me, it's the first time I have ever seen that on wrestling in any of the shows, whether it's a pay-per-view live premium event or
I thought
otherwise.
That's where the match was decided right there. But the story goes on.
Howard was thinking to see if he knew of any others. Have you ever seen the 2 feet put up like this into the ankle lock? No. Right there? Because to me, again, that was a new thing. So it was pretty unique for me. So ends up that both women roll forward. Asuka flies through the ropes onto the floor. Lynch looks for the disarmor. Belair stands up with Lynch on her shoulder. Looks again for the KOD. Lynch counters and slides off. Becky jumps to Belair, gets caught, only for Asuka to then drop both of them with a missile drop kick. Becky throws Asuka outside, hits Belair with the manhandle slam. Asuka breaks the pin. All 3 women laying down on the ground. They start trying to get up, trading blows. Belair wants the glam slam on Becky, but Asuka kicks her in the head. Lynch tosses Asuka away, pins Belair, but Asuka breaks it up. Of course, the crowd is now saying that this is awesome. Asuka hits Becky with a German suplex, misses the hip attack. Lynch kicks her in the head. Becky applies the disarmor, but Belair lifts her onto the apron, only for Asuka to knock Belair off. Lynch falls into the ring. Becky and Asuka trade pinfalls until Asuka locks in the Asuka lock. Lynch fights up, but Asuka reapplies it until Belair comes in. Asuka attempts, again, a hip attack in the corner. Belair catches her, hits the grand slam into the buckles, which is pretty cool to look at too. Becky throws Belair out of the ring, hits Asuka with the manhandle slam, covers Belair, but nope, that's a 2 count. Belair gets in there, grabs Becky, throws her out of the ring. That's a quick 1, 2, 3. Your winner, and still WWE Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. Again, that match ended up being 18 minutes, 55 seconds. Your thoughts, Howie Blues?
Sounds like it was a pretty good match.
Rudeboy Kyle.
Yeah, it was entertaining to have the 3 wrestlers in the ring. There's a good back and forth with Asuka kind of being out of the ring to begin the match, and she kind of took her first few hits, and it was something where she was able to land a few timely interruptions to potential pinfalls. And I was thinking that when she had the double leg lock and had both opponents essentially in victory position, at least for a tap out from one or both of them, that would have been it. Mm-hmm. But it was good. It was fun to watch. I liked it.
Next on the card, Bobby Lashley versus Omos and MVP handicap match. And this one, I picked Omos and MVP.
I can't remember what did I pick. You have what I wrote down?
I do. Just 1 second for that one.
Kyle had Omos.
I had Omos.
Yes, you had Omos and MVP. Howie Blues.
I was also going to go with Omos and MVP.
Okay. So this one starts out with the backstage video of Omos and MVP talking tactics about what their match is going to be. And Cedric Alexander shows up. Hey, we should do this. I'll do this. No problem. MVP tells him to buzz off and that, hey, the Hurt business is over. It's done. It's not coming back. We're over this. And Omos tells him to leave. Okay. So then the entrances happen, and this match, by the way, is 8 minutes 25 seconds long. Again, a 2-on-1 handicap match. Now, Howie Blues, as you being an official of sorts, for a 2-on-1 handicap match, what do those rules mean?
It depends. Sometimes I'm saying sometimes the two have to tag. Sometimes they don't. It depends what promotion's doing what. So,
yeah, it seemed like from what my outsider viewpoint was that they decided to go with a very one in the ring and tag, and then the other one goes in the ring. There wasn't much interference from what I remember, but it was at least at the beginning of the match. Towards the end of the match, there was a bit of a surprise, which Mark will elaborate on. Yeah.
So they ended up going with the tag format, which, in a 2-on-1 handicap, they didn't explain that this match would be the tag format because they built it up as MVP and Omos will kick the crap out of Bobby Lashley, and that's going to be that. Well, turns out it was a tag format match. So MVP ended up starting against Lashley as we start this contest.
Yeah, there are a few back and forths where you were able to get a hit in on the guy that was outside the ring, but yeah.
Lashley ended up trying to grab for MVP, but MVP tagged Omos in, and of course, that pissed people off, right? So Lashley grabbed the back of Omos, pulls his hands apart. Lashley tried to clothesline. Omos didn't budge, did the total no-sell on that. Omos held his hands up for the test of strength, but Lashley punched him and knocked MVP off the apron. Omos attacked Lashley, and MVP holds his foot, allowing Omos to splash him. Omos tossed Lashley across the ring, tagged in MVP so he could unload the old ground and pound, as it were. MVP talked some more trash. Lashley started firing back. MVP did the old-fashioned eye rake and tagged in Omos. Lashley got the drop kick to the knee, forearm to the back. Lashley wanted a suplex. Omos countered with one of his own. Omos scooped up Lashley, hit the snake eyes, which I was like, why are they having him do the snake eyes? And then did the old splash in the corner 3 different times. MVP tagged in, hits a running boot to the jaw. Lashley flew over the ropes and onto the floor. MVP tagged in Omos, who ran around the ring, tackled Lashley through the barricade that looked absolutely stupid because Omos was running at full speed and then slowed way down and kind of fell like a sack of crap into him. I mean, and then they kept showing it. I'm like, that doesn't look impressive. That looks stupid. It looks literally like he fell into Lashley.
He had his target, but then he kind of got a slow rumble going and sped up a little bit, and then felt like it was kind of a half attempt at putting him through the barrier, even though the barrier gave way. So,
and that was the thing that made me so agitated, because it looked like he fell into him and they fell through the barricade. Not that, by God, he got thrown through the barricade. It's just crazy. It was just like,
it felt like a slow motion collision that they kept replaying in even slower motion, which slowed it down
even worse more, every replay they put up. So after that, they tried to go for the slow 10 count. Lashley ended up getting back in before the 10 count was done. Then MVP tagged back in, kept Lashley on the ground with some kicks, elbows, and the haymakers. MVP whipped Lashley into the corner, but he knocked Omos off the apron, and then Lashley spears MVP. Lashley covers up, but Omos ends up breaking up the pin. Omos grabbed Lashley, but then who is it? Oh, Cedric Alexander shows up. Oh, hey, we were just talking with you earlier.
You can blink.
Interesting.
You could blink a few times and miss his entire appearance.
Yep. He jumped off the top rope. Omos grabbed him and threw him back over the top rope out of it. But that was enough to, I guess, distract or create as much of a trouble piece through the match. Diversion for sure. That Lashley speared Omos. He rolled out. Lashley avoids a big boot in the corner and then grabs the hurt lock. And that is it, folks. A tap out for the win. Bobby Lashley is your winner of that match. And due to the interruption there from Cedric Alexander to essentially help Lashley, that is your Draft Kings Screwy Finish of the match, of match of the night. One of those things, because there's Draft Kings promos all over the place tonight. Like they were everything.
But not,
Draft Kings,
not an official sponsor on this show, though, yet.
No, I'm sure they were.
Well, they could be.
Oh, this show. I thought you were talking about the live premium event. No,
this show that we're talking on right now.
Well, hey, DraftKings, if you're out there and somebody of interest is listening, if you want to sponsor our show, we can talk about the official DraftKings Screwy Finish of the night. Let us know at beerbluesbs.com. That match again, 8 minutes, 25 seconds. Howie Blues, your thought?
I don't really have much on that one. That went about as well as I thought it would when I saw that it was on the card. So,
yep, that was about it. The Money in the Bank promo aired, which is coming up July 2nd in Las Vegas. They moved it from Allegiant Stadium into a different, smaller arena. And then, of course, the NXT Great American Bash will be on July 5th. So there's that. Next up on the card, the KO show, Kevin Owens and Ezekiel. Or is it Elias? Or is it both? The world may never know. With this one, I picked Ezekiel to win. Your pick, Rude Boy.
I'm pretty sure I picked Ezekiel.
That was an Ezekiel pick for the Rude Boy.
Yeah.
Howie Blues.
I had no prior knowledge, so watching the lead up interviews, he seemed very motivated to have the Ezekiel persona of that wrestler do well. Had plenty of motivation, had plenty of people disrespecting him beforehand, including Kevin Owens. So he wasn't without any motivation going into the match, but it was
Howie Blues. Who's your pick?
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Ezekiel.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about this, they come out to the ring and KO goes right into it of, you're a damn liar. Just is KO pushing the whole Ezekiel is Elias thing, which, I mean, we all know that it is Elias, the person who played Elias, but it's now Ezekiel. So there's that. Fans ended up chanting Zeke to support him. Owens ran across the ring. Zeke clocked him with a knee, heads up to the top, and does the old flying elbow a la Macho. Near fall. Kevin Owens rolls outside, but Ezekiel goes out, slams him on the apron, and then shoves him into the announce desk. Owens counters, Zeke and whips him into the ring post. I will say I also thought this might have been a squash match because there was a roll up by Ezekiel within the first 10 seconds of the match. That is not the case. Back to the ring they go. Owens hits the DDT for a 2 count, starts shouting at the referee that it was a 3 count, but no, it was only a 2 count. Owens ends up hitting the moonsault off the top for a near fall. Owens applies the rear chin lock and continues yelling, Elias! Elias! Well, KO beats him in the corner, but Ezekiel whips Owens hard to the buckles, ends up flipping up on top and then back down onto the mat. That was the one that I was like, watch this. It was like a car wreck in the corner. Owens kicks Zeke away and hits the tornado DDT. Owens ends up going up top now for a swanton bomb, but Zeke gets the knees up and counters it. Ezekiel connects 2 leaping knees. He beats Owens into the corner. Zeke mule kicks Owens, then looks for the splash, but guess what? Nobody's home. Ezekiel catches Owens with a spine buster for the 2 count there. Owens looks for a stunner, gets shoved away. Owens catches Zeke with a pop-up power bomb, another 2 count, and you cannot believe this. Owens screams Elias again at him because, that's just funny. Ezekiel drops him with a knee. Zeke heads up to the top rope. Owens super kicks him 3 times and he falls down. Owens then hits the cannonball, lifts him up, hits the stunner. All a 316. That's a 1-2-3 pin. Your winner of this match, Stone Cold Kevin Owens. That match was 9 minutes, 20 seconds. Your thoughts on that?
I thought that match had the least amount of substance behind why these guys had a beef. One guy is calling himself Zeke or Ezekiel versus
that's Elias.
That's
Elias.
And this other guy had something wrong with that. So
yeah, Kevin Owens thinks that he's full of it.
So that's essentially the facts of the match, and they dueled it out, and that was it. So it was something that you can sum it up in about 10 seconds, or you could spend about 5-minute solid interview of
the video package
beforehand,
yep.
Saying, well, this is why
I don't know why Kevin Owens doesn't like me. I'm Ezekiel.
Yeah, he seems bewildered at the fact that this guy doesn't like me, and then he proceeds to get his butt kicked in the ring, and it was a good match back and forth. They both had equal chances, but it kind of felt like the match was almost in fast forward mode, and then you get to the point where like this has to keep going for another few minutes, and it's like no, we're done. So it felt like a filler match throughout the series of 7 throughout the evening. So
Howie Blues.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not getting the point on this one because truthfully, I always prefer Kevin Owens. I like it when he wins and such. I didn't think he was going to because this is a stupid feud. And,
it is pretty stupid, but the fact that Kevin Owens is calling him
my
out,
name is Zeke.
You're Elias. I'm his younger brother, Ezekiel. That the younger brother thing is stupid, but Kevin Owens like no.
Yeah. And it's to little to no payoff. So
it'd be one thing to call that feud fabricated, but I will save that tag for the triple threat match later on because I think that one is the fakest of them all. But as we go,
again, 9 minutes 20 seconds on that. And we do not pick up a point on that. The next match.
do we have a score total so far?
It's Future Howard, where are you putting it? Here? You're putting it.
I don't know.
Here.
Yeah,
It'll be
we're
somewhere.
gonna tell you right over here. We're just gonna
Right now it's
screen.
here.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that because I know you were looking down at the paper reading from the COD, but Rude Boy wanted the scorecard over there.
Yeah,
over there. So
over this
just
way.
put it off the screen. It'll be fine. So next match is the Judgment Day versus AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. This is the 6-man / women tag match. And again, this is the traditional tag team match, just with 3 competitors per side on this. The overall timing of the match, 16 minutes. I voted for or chose the Judgment Day as my pick on this one. Rude Boy.
You'll have to remind me because when I picked, I just chose something. I didn't have much to go on besides your
Did the coin flip, basically.
your involvement in my telling a previous story.
You picked the AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Liv Morgan.
I'm glad
team.
I chose that.
Are you?
Because the way they painted the Judgment Day,
It's a cult, Jimmy.
it is a cult, and they definitely painted themselves as such, entering the ring, and even the lead up show. It reminded me of the Far Cry 5 cult that wreaked their havoc in Montana. So it's the gaming tie-in. So
Montana way, I see.
yeah,
Jaco.
Yeah.
Who's your choice in this one?
I think it's going to end up being the Judgment Day. They're the new faction. They're trying to make them strong. I think that's where they're going. Plus, WWE has never been kind to Liv Morgan or Finn Balor. So,
yeah.
why is that? If you can give me a little
Vince McMahon.
a little 20-second history besides just saying a single.
It's basically Vince rules. Vince rules everything.
They kind of did give the 20-second rundown of saying how Vince McMahon kind of poo-pooed on 2 of the wrestlers in the threesome versus the Judgment. But it's something that it was just kind of without any basis behind it. So it was interesting.
yeah, the quick kind of history. Vince McMahon is known for really liking the biggest guys, and Finn Balor is a smaller guy and such. So it's
I see how he might give the nod to the Edge. But I mean, given the Edge's prowess and history and accomplishments in the past, but I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting match. It seemed it was an interesting angle that this Judgment Day versus seemingly 2 cast-offs and AJ Styles, and they had a little bit of a team effort. It seemed to be all for naught.
So we started the match with the ladies taking the start with, of course, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. They're talking trash. Well, guys end up getting back in the ring, joining the trash talking. Look, it's 3-on-3. There's a beer 6 brawl in the match. In the ring, that is. Edge and Priest get knocked from the ring. Balor whips Morgan into Styles, which was a pretty sweet move to see there. Styles ends up throwing her over the top onto Ripley into a Hurricane Rana. Cool move of the night. Liv hits Ripley in the corner, then runs at her, but ends up getting a headbutt instead. Ripley then hits a suplex, kicks Liv in the back, then lifts her up for a stalling vertical suplex with a 2 count. Rhea punches Liv on the mat, backs her into the corner, and shoulders her. Morgan kicks Rhea back, hits a missile drop kick. Ripley crawls over to her corner so Styles can tag in. He wants to take on Edge, but Damian Priest takes the tag instead. Of course, gets booed because of that. Styles ducks Priest and connects with a drop kick, then grabs a wrist lock, tags in Balor. The crowd starts cheering because now it's Balor and Damian Priest who have been fighting a little bit of a battle with each other in recent weeks. Finn drop kicks the knee of Priest and starts targeting the knee. Priest knocks Balor onto the outside. Edge takes the tag, so now he can go beat Finn on the outside of the ring. Edge gets Balor back inside the ring. Taunts Styles while he's beating on AJ Styles in the corner. Priest tags in and kicks Balor in the gut and then gives him the old club. Edge and Priest make a lot of tags back and forth. They're keeping Balor isolated in their corner. Edge whips Balor hard into the buckles, then goes off on him with a bunch of strikes. Balor starts firing back, knocks Priest off the apron, but Edge prevents the tag and hits a flapjack. Priest tags in, keeps Balor away from him again in the corner until Balor chops the chest. Not that some bitch. That was just a resounding chop. Hits the Pele kick, and on we go. Edge and Styles get the tags, the hot tags, of course, and AJ ends up unloading on Edge. Priest comes back in. Styles knocks him right back out before hitting Edge with a backbreaker. Styles wants to get the Styles clash, but Ripley comes in. Liv comes in to counter that, tackles her onto the outside. Edge sends AJ over the apron where he hits a sliding knee to Priest. AJ hits Edge with the phenomenal forearm, covers, but Priest drags AJ under the bottom rope, breaking the count. Morgan and Ripley get the tags. Rhea counters with a Hurricane Rana again, but Liv ends up rolling her up for 2. Morgan hits a snap crucifix pin for a 2 count. Liv wants the Oblivion, but Ripley avoids it, hits a snap German suplex. There's 2 on the night, by the way, if you're keeping count, Rude Boy. 2. Some fans, are more interested in the gear that the Judgment Day's wearing than the actual match, so that's kind of interesting. Rhea flips Morgan up, power bombs her, gets another near fall. Balor gets a tag after Liv hits the DDT on Ripley. Then Styles starts beating up Edge. Balor starts beating up Priest. And Liv starts beating up Ripley until all of the heels, the Judgment Day, roll to the outside of the match, or the ring. Balor and Styles dive over the ropes onto Priest and Edge. And then guess what? Morgan comes running through the ring, flies through the ropes with the big old suicide dive because we can't have a tag team match without doing that one spot.
I thought that was the move of the night. In terms of, you think you have them against the ropes and they're outside the ropes, and then you have 3 people all making strikes outside the ring and being able to connect with them all. And I thought they had them there.
But they did not. They did not. We continue on where it turns out that Balor gets Priest back into the ring, gets the old step-up enziguri, and then goes up as well. But Ripley shakes the ropes, so with Balor up in the top corner of the turnbuckle, he, falls down because you can't have your balance when somebody touches the ropes. Edge tags in. Priest hits a South of Heaven choke slam. Priest is then taken out with a phenomenal forearm, but Edge tosses AJ outside of the ring. Edge runs for the spear. Balor counters with a small package, gets a 2 count there. Balor hits a drop kick and a sling blade. Then goes up to the top ropes, but again, Rhea Ripley steps in front of him. Liv Morgan gets in there, jumps onto Rhea Ripley's back. They fall through the ropes, which is an interesting move as well. Balor jumps for the coup de grace, but Edge rolls out of the way, follows up with the spear on Finn Balor for the 1, 2, 3. Your winners of the match, the Judgment Day. Again, a 16-minute match for that one. Rudeboy, your thoughts for the last half of the match?
Yeah, it was a good back and forth. I thought to me, just taking an outside view of what Edge is promoting in terms of his image in this, I feel like he's got a couple of talented people doing the bidding for him. And it's if you find a couple of good lackeys, if one of them goes down, or if both of them go down, then all of a sudden the Judgment Day is the Edge and someone that's underpowered, or you have nothing left besides the Edge and someone wants to take on the Judgment Day. You're in a very vulnerable position. So it's an interesting storyline. I chose the others partly because of the maybe just because Vince McMahon doesn't cast a good light on them or doesn't care for them as much. But yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was a good back and forth. So,
Jaco,
I pretty much went the way I figured it would go, with no love for Finn, unfortunately, which is sad because he is such a talent. And especially when they partnered him up with AJ and basically reunited part of the Bullet Club.
I mean, I thought it was something that they did a good job of saying these guys have a very good chance of beating the Judgment Day. And I was like, why not now? So it was something that I thought that it felt like that match could have gone on for another 10 minutes and sort of played itself out into Styles and his team taking down, because it didn't feel like the Edge had much to do in that match. Like I said, it seemed like the two wrestlers that were aligned with him were doing the bidding for him, and maybe that might be to his benefit down the road where he's able to defend his Judgment Day theme. But it's something that is, I kind of wish that match would have gone on for another 5-10 minutes. So
yeah.
Next is a backstage camera following Bobby Lashley following his win. And who does he bump into? Well, hey, look, it's Cedric Alexander. Hey, Cedric, what was the deal earlier? Well, I just gave him what was coming to him because, well, I'm not looking for their approval. I'm trying to do what I can. I got to make my own path. Lashley goes, good. Hey, good job looking out for yourself. But you know what? Don't ever do anything in one of my matches again. And then gave him the old whap. Just like that. Yeah. And goes off walking. And we're like,
no torn pecs right here. Maybe a 4-star.
Yeah. 4-star and splash. So again, in case those listening, or I forgot to mention it at the end of that 6-person tag match, it was a 16-minute even time on that match. Next up is the one you've been waiting for. I know that you have. It's the no holds barred match with Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. This one I went out on a limb just because of how big of a dick Corbin has been recently. And I know Madcap Moss is getting a huge push, but I went with Corbin. Why? Because I figured they would, I don't know, potentially be a dick with the booking as well. So Corbin, I figured, potentially would have this. Your pick, Rude Boy.
I think I initially picked Corbin, and it was something where as I watched the pre-show and the lead up to the first match, they spoke briefly about Madcap Moss, and there is something about how Corbin
beating the crap out of him.
Well, he beat the crap out of him, but it was not on we'll say sheer muscle or skill, but it was on the premise of
he's got the steel chair,
disrespect, the steel chair, the
Andre the
defaming
Giant
of
Battle Memorial Trophy
of trophies. And he just seemed, to me, it felt like Corbin capitalized on the outside weapons versus Madcap Moss, worked on his wrestling skill, the ability to truly defeat an enemy in a match through not so much the disrespect, but he worked hard for it. So I changed it to Madcap Moss, and that was my pick.
Howie Blues.
I'm also going to go with Madcap Moss. I refuse to pick Corbin until they give him his music back.
Yes. See, I told you. He's like, what?
I mean,
I said his new music, the Happy Corbin music, is stupid and doesn't need to be there because
it felt like you were walking into a casino bathroom.
I mean, kind of. Yeah. Look at it. Maybe it's a Tommy Bahama. I don't know. No, I do know because I've been in several Tommy Bahamas.
Maybe they just pumped too much oxygen into the side of the
too much rum. Too much rum. All right. So this match was. I can't even. It was 12 minutes, 5 seconds long, and it was like 12 minutes too long. Because Baron Corbin, he's there. He's a muscle. He's supposed to beat the crap out of people. Like that's who he is. And I love the finisher, the deep six.
This was the match where I was expecting Corbin to have somebody do his outside bidding and have the surprise outsider do the thing, but. I was happy it didn't happen.
No cheesery with this one.
Yeah, I was almost expecting it just with the lead up and just saying he went with all these weapons and went with the disrespect angle, and we're just gonna kind of maybe dig that knife in a little deeper this match. But I was glad that it was almost like Madcap Moss brought the Corbin game and he gave him a taste of his own medicine.
So that's why, young Padawan, as we bring you on board with the wrestling knowledge, that you will know that this was not the Draft Kings Screwy Finish of the night.
No. I had a different pick for that, but that's a side discussion that we had as we go.
Here we go. So this match gets underway. They're going right at it because, of course, they hate each other. The friends turn bitter enemies. They're going for it now. Well, they're brawling up the ramp. Yes, they went up the ramp because this is a no-holds-barred match, which means no countouts, no disqualifications, and weapons are legal. Missiles are hot. So they fight their way up and down the ramp, and now they're back to the ramp. Madcap bounces Corbin into the barricade. Moss grabs the steel chair, but Corbin takes it away and throws it off to the side so he can't use it. Now they're fighting around the commentator desk, and I I saw Rude Boy getting excited. He's like, oh, they're at the desk. Maybe they're going to, go through it or clear it off and watch it not break, and then it hurts even more. Nope, they didn't. Didn't even clear it off. Didn't even do anything. It was just like, hey, we bumped into it. It's there. Mm-hmm. That's it. So they're fighting around it. Corbin shoves Madcap over the top of it, but not even in the over-the-top method where it's like, wow, it's over the top. It was like, into the leather chair. So now, Moss shoves Corbin into the steel steps because, that's the classic hip toss, straight throw right into the steel steps, and then grabs him again and throws him into the other set of steel steps. Moss lifts up the steps, but Corbin runs away, climbs over the barricade. Moss goes after him, but Corbin immediately gives him the old clothesline over the top of it. Corbin beats Moss around the ringside, suplexes him onto the barricade. The fans, of course, now want the tables because we know that we all want to see tables in any kind of a match that is no disqualification, no holds barred, etc., etc. Well, Corbin grabs one and then puts it back into the ring. Why? Because Corbin's a dick. Typical heel move. Corbin puts Moss back into the ring, mocks the fans. Corbin then chokeslams Moss, goes under the ring for a chair, and smashes Madcap with it. Happy even sets up the chair, sits Moss on it, runs at him. Madcap Moss hits the drop toe hold on the chair. Moss wants the neck breaker, but Corbin shoves him off. Hits the deep six. That's a near fall. That's a 2 right there. Corbin wedges the chair between the ropes. Moss whips him into it. That's gotta hurt. Or that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Moss goes to the outside, brings the steel chair back into the ring. Corbin knocks the chair from his hands, but Moss beats him into the corner, hits him in the shoulder with the chair. Corbin rolls out. Moss runs at him, but Happy hits the old chop block. That's a chop block, chop block. It's a chop block. So now, after the old chop block, Corbin wraps a chair around Moss's head, runs him into the side of the announce desk. That's a lot of damage.
Corbin Phil Swift would be proud.
You're going to have to put some flex tape on their faces to keep them from bleeding. Corbin brings the steel steps into the ring, props them up in the corner. Happy looks to throw Moss onto them, but yes, Madcap Moss ends up sliding off the shoulder, lifts Corbin, and hits the fall-away slam into the steps. Moss puts the steel chair around Corbin's head, lifts the steel steps, and slams the steel steps onto the chair, blasting Corbin. Moss covers Corbin for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Madcap Moss. Again, that match, 12 minutes, 5 seconds. Rude Boy.
Yeah, it seemed from the clips that they played before the match in the lead up that Madcap found a way to take his opponent's strategy right to him. And
taking it to the street.
Yeah, well, he took it straight to the ring. He didn't mess around. He took advantage of whatever weapons he had available. For a guy that has worked so hard to wrestle as hard as he had, he played a complete match strategy to utilize not only the body but the weapons to beat his opponent at his own game without any disrespect.
Jaco.
Sorry, I tuned out. Was that match over? Was it? I'm sorry. This was one of those matches I saw on the card. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad I'm missing this one.
I'll be right back, Jaco.
So, well, Rude Boy Kyle goes to figure out what Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin is doing, and if he's still laying on the mat somewhere in Chicago or if he's been scraped up and tossed into a dumpster. We'll continue with the next match. It's the United States Championship match. Your champion, the youngest U.S. champion in WWE history, Austin Theory, and I'm going to call him Austin Theory no matter what Vince McMahon says, because his name is Austin. We can't call him Austin. We're going to call him Austin because it's Austin Theory. That is his name. And Mustafa Ali. So this match, before we do the picks, 10 minutes, 25 seconds. 10 minutes, 25 seconds is the length. With this one, I picked Austin Theory to retain because it's Austin Theory and Vince McMahon is got a huge eye on him. So like he's just really, 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 I don't know, has it from Vincent Kennedy McMahon. As for the Rude Boy, he also picks Austin Theory. And for you, Jaco,
I'm also picking Theory, and this is the third of like the three. There were three matches on the card, Kidder, that when I saw the card, I was like, yeah. There were three matches I didn't care about. Lashley Omos, the one we just did, Corbin and Moss, and this one, Theory and Ali. And you have to know it's Theory because Ali was the one who just recently asked for his release and was denied his release, and they're not going to give him the title. They're going to make him suffer through the end of his contract. So, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking about in my head is, where's the Intercontinental title, and why is it not being defended on a pay-per-view? Because it's been probably 7 months since that's been on a pay-per-view. And, of course, Howie Blues in the future Howard will figure out potentially when it has been. If not, do you remember off the top of your head? Because I don't remember when the Intercontinental title was last defended on a pay-per-view. It's been a while.
I can't even tell you who has it right now.
That would be Ricochet. Yeah, exactly. Because I forgot about that too until I looked it up last week. Because I'm like, who has it now? I don't even remember. Why is this title relevant? Anyway, this match again, 10 minutes, 25 seconds, way too long. Didn't need to happen. The stupid gimmick that Austin Theory has is what it is. Austin Theory goes with the wrist lock. Ali flipped out, chops the chest, another, and we're on. Ali with an arm drag. Theory bails from the ring. Theory with the typical heel move throughout the match. Theory gets back in. Ali catches him with more arm drags, and then he jumps out. Theory's furious because the other piece to mention is that Mustafa Ali, apparently hometown is listed as Chicago, Illinois, and where are they? They're in Chicago. And what did I say before the match? The hometown dude is not going to win.
Yeah, you said they mentioned the hometown so-called advantage or hometown crowd.
Handful of times.
It had to have been a dozen times leading up to the match.
Stop Ali from Chicago.
And it seemed like they played it up too much. And you even mentioned how the hometown hero has not had a good record many of the most recent matches. So that's why I chose the opposite, even though being from the Chicago area, I had to go with Mark's sage wisdom. So,
So really, I don't want to dive too much into this match because it was a match. There were some moves off the top rope, off the sides. Austin Theory trying to be a heel, and with his shit-eating grin, for lack of a better term, like it was what it was. Ali had some good offense. The crowd was behind him. He had the Chicago trunks on, a la CM Punk. Ali ended up going to the top for the 450 splash, but nobody was home. He rolled through. Austin Theory ends up getting a nasty-looking chop block, twisting Ali's leg, his calf and heel and ankle like this off to the side.
Yeah, that was almost injury prone at that point.
Austin Theory ended up grabbing Ali and putting him through the ATL, and 1, 2, 3, your winner and still United States champion, Austin Theory.
It's well said, Howard. I agree with your assessment.
I again wasn't listening because again this was one of the 3 matches I just didn't care about, and you couldn't convince me to care about, and was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. You want to know the good news?
There's 1 match left.
There's been enough talking. It's time for the main event. This one, Rude Boy's got the ring bell. He's ready to roll. So what we didn't know until earlier today, and then there's speculation shooting around everywhere. Cody Rhodes was partially injured by Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw, where he had a separated pectoral muscle, which means that his muscle was still good, but it was kind of there and needed a little of, assistance or recuperating before really doing anything strenuous. Well, ended up that Saturday, Cody Rhodes was training for the match and completely tore the pectoral muscle off the bone. So the speculation again was, is Cody Rhodes going to wrestle? Is he not going to wrestle? Earlier this week, he was advertised to wrestle Seth Rollins at some house shows, and Drew McIntyre filled in for those matches as a replacement, so they would still have a match with Seth frackin' Rollins. Well, it turns out, as they discussed throughout the show, that Cody Rhodes would appear in the Hell in a Cell. And, of course, there was more speculation. Oh, they said he's just going to appear in the match. So that means he's going to get somebody else, and he's going to... Cody Rhodes showed up tonight. My pick on this is my thun of a plumber. Thun of a plumber. Cody Rhodes.
That was my pick as well.
Jago?
I'm actually going with Rollins, and it's because of the pectoral injury and because he's probably going to need surgery in order to repair it. He's got to be off for a while. Why not have him lose, have an incident, have a beat down, write him off for a while? So
sure.
That was my at least thinking going into tonight's recording. So
sure. So the interesting thing, Seth Rollins comes out first, and Rude Boy is laughing at what he's wearing. Well, what is he wearing? The black apparel with the yellow circles or polka dots, if you will. He's like, that's ridiculous. That's Dusty Rhodes. He's trying to troll Cody because of Dusty's apparel.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then my son, Cody Rhodes, comes out to the ring. He's got the old coat on. Crowd's pretty much behind him, and he gets into the cell, and they do the old chain and lock it up. Interesting things. As Cody is taking off his coat, you see the bruise, and he fully takes his coat off. Oh, that sumbitch has to hurt. The entire upper quadrant of his body, black and blue. Like, not even black and blue, it's just like black. It looks like that son of a bitch hurts.
Yeah, that's a very big injury. I mean, any torn muscle, whether it's strained, bruised, but this is pulled completely from the bone.
Spit out the bone. Broken, beaten, scarred.
Almost unusable at that point. I've had some good bruises from playing hockey myself, and they're fairly localized to where the puck hits, and eventually over 2, 3, 4 days after I've played hockey, they spread a little bit amongst the arm or wherever the puck hits. But yeah, this is a major league bruise, major league injury.
Yeah. So they're locked in the cage. The bell rings. We already got the 1, 2, 3 from the Rude Boy, so we're off. They go for the lockup. Rhodes ends up ducking and then does the quick jab on him. Rhodes hits him with some more right hands and hits a disaster kick. Rollins looks for a back suplex, but Rhodes counters and hits a Cody cutter. But guess what? It hurts his chest because that's got to hurt. Cody wants the crossroads, but Rollins ends up countering and escaping. Cody grabs a figure 4, but Rollins drags himself to the rope. Of course, it's in a cage, or in a Hell in a Cell, so there's no rope break. But, Seth ends up pulling himself more under the ring, or under the rope, so he's now on the edge of the ring. Figure 4 is still applied. He grabs a toolbox from underneath the ring. It spreads everywhere. I don't really know the purpose because he tossed the toolbox. Grabs a kendo stick and then whacks Cody with it a few times, right on the injured chest. Rollins then, still with the kendo stick, comes running after Cody and grabs it right in the injury. And you sit at home cringing because that has to hurt a lot. So, essentially, after a few times of poking Cody with the kendo stick, Rollins tries to basically hit him a few times. He swings the kendo stick. Cody grabs it with the block and then jabs him with the kendo stick. Cody's whipped to the corner. He flips over the apron. Rollins ends up getting up, tackling him off to the side, and hits the wall of the Hell in a Cell. Rollins dives through the ropes now, drop kicks Cody right in the chest, uses the kendo stick to pin him against the cage, and then again he's smacking Cody's exposed injury. Seth whips Rhodes into the cell again, pushes him face first into the mesh, and he's screaming, like it, and he's going nuts. So Seth throws Cody back into the ring portion. Cody ends up countering a backdrop, connects with a clothesline, sends Rollins back over the ropes. Cody goes out, and Rollins attacks him with the steel steps. Then Rollins gets Rhodes again back into the ring. Rollins is the complete asshole, puts the Cody Rhodes jacket on before pulling a polka dot weight belt out from under the ring, mocking not only Cody but also Dusty Rhodes. Rollins brings that belt in, whips Cody Rhodes with it a few times with quite a few good whacks with that thing. Then he brings a table into the ring, actually grabs the table. So now the fans get a little bit of service. Rollins stomps Rhodes in the corner, sets up the table, and puts Cody up onto the top rope. Rollins wants to superplex Cody Rhodes, but guess what? He slips between his legs, lifts him up for a powerbomb. Rollins holds onto the ropes. Rollins ends up hitting the discus forearm to the back of the head, lays Cody onto the table because it's set up. Rollins again goes back up top, does a leap for the Just rewind that a little bit because this match was all over the place, and the matches before this were a little bit mind-numbing. So Rollins is again up top for the frog splash. Cody laying on the table. As Rollins starts leaping off the turnbuckle, Rollins ends up hitting the table by itself because Cody Rhodes rolled out of the way, straight through the table. And again, you go, that's got to hurt. Rhodes goes outside, grabs a bull rope from a duffel bag from under the ring, and yes, it has more cowbell. Now, this is, of course, one of the big Rhodes family legacies of the bull rope and tying each other to it, and you can't go farther than the rope, and you beat each other with the rope, and et cetera, et cetera. So Cody ties the bull rope to his own wrist and then hands the other end to Seth Rollins, who does the same. I don't know why, aside from story, but like, screw you, man. I'm not going to put that on my wrist. I'll beat you with it, but I'm not going to tie it to myself. Whatever. Rhodes hits Rollins with the bell. Then pulls the rope between his legs, flips him over. Rhodes super kicks Rollins and then hits him in the head with the cowbell again for a 2 count. Rhodes puts Cody on one side of the ring, goes to the other, uses the ropes to yank him into that ring post. Rollins then unties the rope from him, and Cody also drops the tied rope from his wrist. Seth brings another table into the ring. Rollins props that table up in the corner of the turnbuckle and wants to powerbomb Cody through it, but Rhodes gets free, hits the crossroads for a near fall. Rollins counters into a powerbomb through the table, in the corner, covers, kick out. Rollins then goes outside while Cody is doing a little bit of recuperating. Seth Rollins grabs a sledgehammer from underneath the ring. It's Triple H. It's just Triple H's sledgehammer, which no reference to it. I'm also disappointed by that because both Seth and Cody have ties to Triple H and the sledgehammer, which I explained to the Rude Boy, but we don't need to go into it because obviously WWE didn't feel it was interesting or appropriate at this time. So he gets back into the ring, tries to hit Cody with the sledgehammer, but misses. He goes for a pedigree. Again, the good Triple H tie-in there. Nope, doesn't mess with any of that. And yes, he misses the pedigree on that. So Cody counters, hits a pedigree onto Seth Rollins, gets a near fall. There's a 2 count for you. Rollins ends up rolling out. Cody grabs a sledgehammer for himself. Rhodes is running after Rollins now with the sledgehammer. They get back into the ring. Rollins tries to hit the stomp, ends up doing most of it, getting it down. Cody is down for the count. 1, 2, Cody kicks out. Rollins goes again for the curb stomp. Cody avoids it, counters, hits basically a little bit out of the way, but Seth Rollins grabs Cody again, hits him with the crossroads, holds on, lifts him up for another, but guess what? Cody Rhodes counters and hits him with the crossroads. Both men are down. Both men go for the sledgehammer. Cody gets it, but can't lift it because, you know, his whole upper body on one side is jacked up. Rollins tries to use it, but Rhodes ends up kicking it away and it goes sailing out of the ring and grabs Seth Rollins up for one crossroads, lifts him up for another crossroads, and then grabs the sledgehammer. Does the classic smash like this with the
two-handed smash.
The two-handed smash with the sledgehammer. Seth Rollins gets a smash to the face. Cody Rhodes grabs the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Your winner of the main event, the son of a plumber, Cody Rhodes. So there's Hell in a Cell 2022. Again, that match 24 minutes, 20 seconds. Rude Boy was commenting during the match on, are they going to use the Hell in a Cell? Are they going to go out of the cell? What are they going to do? And potentially, this is a purely speculation, of course, that had Cody Rhodes not been injured before it, I think they would have done some stuff going up onto the cell, climbing and whatnot. But with that nasty injury and looking even worse at the end of the match than when it did at the beginning of the match, that's got to hurt. That's got to be 6 weeks at least. So, Rudeboy, your other thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I think being an injured animal and Cody Rhodes' opponent poking an injured animal enough, at some point that animal has a breaking point. So I thought it was interesting because it's not your typical Hell in a Cell match where you're expecting some vertical elements, but Cody Rhodes held on long enough. He used his advantages when he could, and was able to. I think the turning point was when Seth Rollins put his coat on. It seemed like there's a bit of a rejuvenation, because that was the ultimate disrespect. It was something that you saw that he lived on no matter what happened after that point, and surviving the and rolling off the table, or potential table strike in the middle of the ring. It's a lot of high risk maneuvers, and sometimes you go all out to go after a wounded opponent, and if you go maximum risk with the potential for the kill shot, but having the potential for your own damage against you is what Cody Rhodes really capitalized on, because essentially being without an arm, and I'm not sure if he's predominantly right-handed, but being on your right shoulder, you have to learn to fight with your instincts instead of your training. So you fight with your instincts, and sometimes that's you just have to plain survive, and that's what he did tonight. So kudos to Cody.
Yeah, this sounded like this was a decent Hell in a Cell match. Probably not as great as it could be if Cody was fully healthy. And Kidder, it's a 3 to 4 month recovery time for a torn pec, so he's going to be gone for a while after this. So, it could have gone either way, depending on how they want to handle his absence, or his upcoming absence, because, boy, you're going to want to recover. You've put this much into Cody Rhodes. You kind of want to get the most out of your investment and such. I know that the audience, at least those viewing on YouTube, have the benefit of the scoreboard, but here we are at the end of the night. Our overall scores: in third place is Kyle with 3 correct on the evening. And then tied for first is Kidder and myself with 4. So,
wow.
So
around.
Yeah, first, but like by a point. So,
Ting, ting, ting.
So, yeah.
Right. That was the 1, 2, 3.
Well, gents, we've been talking for quite a while, and I'm still very sleep deprived. I think it's time we wrap this this episode up with maybe some quick, cheap plugs.
Okay.
And head on to Dreamland.
Let's get this going. Just a quick note before we cheaply plug this, is that when you look at the card, most of them came from the Raw half of it, even though they're killing, for lack of a better term, the brand split. So that's something kind of interesting to think about there. So let's go ahead and wrap it up. What do we have to say? Well, the biggest thing is go to beerbluesbs.com, sleep-deprived.com. Yes, it is right here on the screen if you're watching the YouTube version. And if you're not, it's in the show notes right below this episode. Please subscribe to the audio or video versions if you would. That would be awesome. Hit the subscribe button. You don't have to get the notifications. Just subscribe. It's fine.
It would be awesome if you did. Because
it would, yeah.
It would be an excellent start to your weekend.
Because typically these are Friday nights, and then the big show here, whenever we do the wrestling reviews, they're out as soon as they can.
You won't skip a beat on the Beers, Blues, BS production if you subscribe and also turn on the notifications.
The little ding on its own that you would get on the old notification, right?
Right there.
So you can get that. Of course, audio version, video version, if you would please and thank you. Share it with your friends and help us share the love with more people and keep the Triple B bus rolling down and up all of these hills. Again, with beerbluesbs.com, you can check out our merch store, buy some sweet shirts, including the live premium event shirts. Yes, the live premium event glasses, even. Maybe a sweatshirt. We have, if you want those glasses, I'd suggest going to an optometrist because then you can actually see what you're doing. But yeah, we have all kinds of other sweet stuff at beerbluesbs.com. Click on merch. And if you want to buy us a beer or another tasty beverage, whether it's a Coke or it's an alcoholic beverage or even just a classy bottled water, you can do that at beerbluesbs.com and click buy us a beer and then type in your own custom message to let us know what you're thinking and saying, and we can put that here at the bottom of the screen for that as well. Again, beerbluesbs.com and link to Facebook on there. Join us on Facebook and everywhere else that we have the audio versions. The best thing to do, I would suggest, is if you know that you listen to an audio version of the show somewhere or another show, just go to the search bar, Beer Blues BS. Search for that. Subscribe to us, please. And thank you. So, for Rudeboy Kyle, for Brother Jaco, Howard Blues, on the other end of this digital extravaganza, I am the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Kidder. Thanks for joining us for this special edition bonus coverage of Hell in a Cell 2022 on the Beer, Blues, and BS. Remember, keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down the old dusty Tuscan Highway. See you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty.